human. Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barreiro's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
We are at our annual Toys for Tots event at the beautiful Shields location in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, Eden Prairie Mall. We'll be here until, is it official, 6:15 or 6:30?
No, it's 6:30. The Wild game's late tonight.
Late tonight.
So we've got
late game tonight.
Vikings Country, then Wild Weekly,
Okay.
then the pregame show for Wild and Edmonton.
Louis will join in about a half hour. If you'd like to stop by to say hello, we'd love to hear from you. We'd also love for you to bring a toy of some sort or pick one up here. Money donations accepted as well for our annual holiday season Toys for Tots event.
I feel like we should get the twin stuff out of the way.
I'm kind of intrigued because I don't know that I'd heard about this.
You are familiar with Bob Nightingale?
I am.
USA Today. Not Bobby Nightingale.
The father.
Yes.
Okay.
Bob Nightingale, USA Today. I'll just read you the headline. The Minnesota Twins are trying to decide whether to trade starting pitcher Joe Ryan or starting pitcher Pablo Lopez in an effort to reduce the organization's debt. That's the headline. I pulled up the story, and now I can't find it because there was more. They still have the debt service, of course, that they're trying to...
I thought that was going to be taken care of with the still unnamed or unidentified minority investors.
So the owners are carrying $425 million to $500 million in debt after seeking a sale and bringing in minority investors, plus a midseason trade of veterans that boosted their farm system to number 2. And this is like the AI distillation of it. Fans voiced strong opposition to the Pohlad family, while the club's recent contract tenders hint at contention plans amid winter meetings. So they're trying to decide if they're going to trade one of the two, Joe Ryan.
And so you're saying among the possibilities not under consideration is we don't trade either of them. And we actually then go out and get another pitcher. So we've got 3 really interesting starters at the top of our rotation.
I would say the latter that you just talked about, I have not seen.
No.
Adding a pitcher, I have not seen that anywhere. There was also a nugget somewhere that I need to find again that Byron Buxton apparently for the first time is open.
He has said that to, I want to say, Athletic Guy.
Okay, to Dan Hayes?
At least, maybe more than just him. But yeah, he is.
So things are
opened
fine.
the door to the possibility because he's already on record as saying, we've already, since I've been here, we've had 2 rebuilding plans. I don't need to be a part of a third. So I don't think he said it quite as directly as I'm suggesting, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if they say to him, we're going to get rid of the pitcher or we are going to continue to try to. We now know, is it, again, not confirmation, that we now know why when people like Lavelle have constantly said, we need a declaration of philosophy and approach and vision of where this is going. We now know why they're not doing any of those declarations.
I think these are the declarations.
Yeah, these are the declarations because if they say these declarations out loud on the record, they know they're going to get pounded. So they would rather be quieter about it. And they know they're still going to get pounded, but they're not going to get pounded as badly because we said a million times, if their intentions were better, if their intentions were more ambitious, you darn well know they would have said that because they have every reason from a ticket standpoint to do it. They're not because they're not going to do it. They're going to go even further the other way. They're going to continue to insult the intelligence of even the most fervent Twins fans regarding the approach that they continue to want to take.
It's a buzzkill, man.
Well, it's but a confirmation.
Yeah, I know. They're playing at Field of Dreams next year, though. That'll be cool. I don't know who's going to be playing for us.
Well, that's the thing.
It's after the
bunch
trade
of college
deadline.
players, probably.
They'll have to pick them up like Moonlight Graham, like Archie Graham. They'll have to drive down there, and Kevin Costner and James Earl Jones will have to pick up the pitcher.
In all seriousness, I had this down in my notebook that when we get, what's the date of that? Is it August?
Yeah.
The Field of Dreams game? Whenever it is.
Second weekend in August.
Remember, when we get to around those dates, I'm not going to play the romanticizing baseball game then.
I know.
I'm not going to do it no matter the setting because of the backdrop, which is they are not to be taken seriously as an organization. So when it's convenient for them to say, oh, yes, but it's the romance of the game of baseball. They've killed the baseball romance. You don't get to go back to it when it's convenient for you because you're having a game at the Field of Dreams. You will fall for it.
I know. I'm worried I'm going to fall for it.
You will.
I definitely. I've already fallen for it. I've already looked into it. I think I've already.
Well, you've gone before, haven't you?
I've gone, but I've never seen a game there.
Okay, yeah.
I've played catch with my dad there.
Right, yeah.
I played catch with Tim Hyde there, former promotions guy, but I've never seen a game.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you. Have a good time.
Can I call in? How about I call in?
You can't call in.
Well, no, here's why. I call in from the Field of Dreams and you just lecture me for 10 minutes. And then I hang up.
Yeah.
You say, don't tweet. I'm going to block you.
Yeah.
And then we'll do it that way.
Maybe that's
we'll do it that way.
bit. Yeah, for sure.
Jesper Wallstedt.
He's back?
Well, he's 6-0-0.
Well, no, but I mean, he's in the net tonight.
Brett can tell us that. I didn't look.
Aren't we kind of alternating now, back and forth every game?
Wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Fresh legs, fresh goaltender. We got the Gus Bus. We got the Great Wall of St. Paul. He has been named the NHL's Rookie of the Month for November. A league best 1.14 goals against average, a 96.7 save percentage, 3 shutouts in 6 games. And while I was in the Bahamas, it made me laugh that Russo's getting into Twitter battles with the Colorado Avs play-by-play guy. Have you seen that?
No. I missed that, too.
Brett may have seen this as well. So, the Great Wall of St. Paul, when he wins a shootout or an overtime game, he celebrates like he's a skater, like he's an actual player. And apparently Avs play-by-play guy
bitter about
was bitter and basically said, you're acting like you won Game 7 of the Stanley Cup.
I've got the audio.
Do you have the audio?
I do. You ready?
Play it
let's
real
hear
quick.
it. Yeah.
Here he comes. Cale McCarr, right-handed shot, right side circle McCarr. Tried to go 5-hole, save made by Volstedt, and he celebrates like he's won the Stanley Cup. He has not.
Wow.
So then, that makes the rounds.
Right.
Russo gets into it and says, lighten up Francis,
right,
basically, which is also my reaction. And he just keeps going after it. Like, it was this story that didn't end for like 3 days. So, of course, State of Hockey then piles on this.
Well, first of all, we wouldn't know anything about winning the cup.
It's exactly right.
I mean, we got to take what we can get.
Any generation of hockey players here. I just loved that. I'm just watching this Twitter battle from afar. And Russo is trying to speak logically to the guy.
Yeah.
You're talking to the Paul Allen of Colorado.
Right. You're not going to.
I don't think logic is going to answer it. So anyway, it's tonight against Edmonton. Tonight is the game.
And Blakemore, can you confirm who's in the net tonight?
I've got Volstedt in the net, the Great Wall of St. Paul.
We are kind of just alternating now, correct? Pretty lately, that's what we've been going back and forth, have we not?
Yeah, it's been a pretty much a steady rotation between the two. There's no one or two.
And that's the way it should be, I think, for a while. I mean, again, if somebody fades a little bit, then maybe you go back to the other one for 2 or 3 games in a row. But what we're seeing so far, I think, is a view that we're close to 50-50 at this point.
Yeah.
And there's no reason not to, as long as it's going so well for both of them. And that's a very different breakdown than everybody anticipated when the season began.
I can't wait for the playoff goaltender controversy.
Then that's when we'll get Guerin going.
It's going to be so meaty.
That's when it'll be fun with Bill Guerin. Because whoever the Wild pick, will have to try to agitate him and say they should have gone the other way. And then I'll find some weird hockey analytic to back it up, and then he'll lose it. He'll just pop a cork.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
I don't care about those numbers. The Wolves right now are in the 6th spot in the Western Conference standings. They're 12-8 after a nice victory over San Antonio Navy on Sunday night. A very nice finish. Our guy Mike Conley, who I think is going to join us tomorrow, we'll get confirmation after the game tonight. They're back in action against the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh.
Remember a few years ago when the Pelicans were kind of in the same spot as the Wolves? They were a trendy, young Western Conference team. I don't know if we had to play them in the play-in game or a game to get to the play-in game. I can't remember, but they were right there. They are 3-18 this season. 3-18. And I told you this earlier in the show, so you will not be as surprised, but I'll reenact what I told you. I'm glad you're sitting down. Zion Williamson, it was reported today, will miss extended time with the right adductor injury. He will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. He returned November 19th after missing just over 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. Played in 5 of the Pelicans' past 7 games before sustaining this adductor strain. So the guy they thought was maybe going to change everything down in New Orleans has, again, found himself on the sidelines. He may, in fact, be the new street clothes, the new Anthony Davis.
It's astonishing. It really is. And I thought the Pelicans do not have complete control over their number 1 pick this year because the old tanking question comes up, but I can't get see if you can find it. It may be slightly protected, but I thought they might have given it up. I think Joe Dumar's already traded it away, if I'm not mistaken, to move up a bunch of spots.
They traded it to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for the rights to Derek Queen.
Right, exactly.
In this last draft.
Yeah.
The trade also involved the Bucks.
And is it lottery protected at all?
No, it's unprotected.
I mean, that's
a bad trade.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
Because they are.
Well, people said it at the time, too. They
did.
said, why are we doing this for Derek Queen?
Yeah, exactly.
I do
nice
remember
player,
that.
but not worthy of that kind of gamble. So, this is, and it is kind of, as many jokes have been done on Zion Williamson, it is a shame because he was part of the hubbub surrounding him. I kind of got because of the uniqueness with which he played.
Agree.
Given his size and how well he could move at that size. But it does reach a point where you go, how can you possibly continue to invest in this nonsense? There's just no chance it's ever going to pay off.
I'm trying to think in the college game in the last 10 years if there was a player more uniquely and highly touted. His year at Duke was incredible, right? Barack Obama is going to watch games at Cameron Indoor. That was the Final Four year here, 2019, because Duke, I remember being bummed when Duke lost, I think, to Michigan State, because the Final Four was not going to be here, and they were the number one team the whole year, and Zion was this freak of nature, and it's been nothing but injuries and eating basically in the NBA.
Didn't he? I thought he did lose some weight.
He did.
He came back, but his body. He's just one of those guys. I don't know if it's going to be the same with J.J. McCarthy. For whatever the reason, he just can't stay healthy, and you can't really probably trade him. I don't know. That's the thing. You're saddled with that kind of situation. Right. I don't even know what you do.
I know.
It's not good. Is that here or there?
They play on Monday. They play on Tuesday and Thursday, both down there.
Both there.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're in New Orleans for a few days.
Well, they did have a nice victory. The Spurs have been playing well even without Wembanyama.
Yep.
First half was a defensive disaster for the Wolves. They seemed barely interested in guarding. The word must have gotten to them at halftime because they played a lot better defensively the second half. There's a lot of talk about they went with this funky lineup in the fourth quarter. Smaller lineup. And I don't think Rudy played like the last 15 minutes of the game. Or 12 to 15 minutes.
Right.
That's probably not going to happen very often. I don't know. The deep dive we're going to have to do maybe as soon as tomorrow. I touched on it with Johnny yesterday, is whether this new plan, which is born of necessity, I think, more than desire, is really workable long term. And that's basically saying Anthony Edwards is our point guard.
Right.
And as I'm queasy about it. I don't buy it. When you get to the playoffs and play good teams, I think it will be, I don't want to say a disaster, but I don't think we're going to keep getting as far as the Final Four or beyond with that approach. But we're back to, and maybe we'll talk to Mike about this tomorrow. How much can he play? How much can you count on him? And what other options this team might have to try to give themselves another option at that position. Because I'm sorry, I just don't think that's Anthony Edwards' strength. It's just, I don't believe it, no matter how much more mature he's getting in that role.
Time to go.
Oh, it is time to go. All right, Louis will be in about 10 minutes or so. If you have questions, Bradshaw Brian KFAN text line won't do us much good today, but you can tweet at me, Dan Barreiro, KFAN, and we'll try to include some questions to Luigi on the hockey front as well. But first, a very brief pause. Stay tuned.
Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just over to KFAN.com. Keyword contest to learn more and to enter KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
Did you see the game?
The stories a stadium could tell.
Tweet that.
Toys for Tots is the event today, all day on the Fan, and our location, many of you know, but those who don't, Shields in Eden Prairie, the store that's impossible to leave without purchasing something. And we would recommend that you purchase. You try not to just leave without paying.
Yeah. It's in your best interest if you don't.
I think that's true.
Yeah, if you get there.
And even better, if you'd like to donate a toy, some cash. We got the bin over in front of us to the left. And, there's you can hang out with us until we're going to be here. It's now official till 6:30. Is that correct?
You got it, yeah.
Louis is going to join us in about 10 minutes or so. Not on location this year. He's going to be by telephone. He's back in Florida. Is that correct?
Yes.
As far as we know.
Flew out this morning.
Yeah, just in
I texted him yesterday because he was at some of the Wild stuff this weekend because I kept seeing Russo tweet pictures of him, and I thought, if Louis is here, that'd be great. It's been a couple of years since he's been able to join us on location, and he said,
left this morning.
Fly home Tuesday morning. I said, oh, isn't that convenient?
Tuesday morning,
yeah.
Probably in, what's the new Delta coach? There's a new coach designation that's not fancy coach, but is semi-fancy coach.
Well,
what's it called?
Like Delta Comfort?
Yeah, but I thought there was a new one.
Well, they have like Delta Comfort Main, Delta Comfort Classic, and that's just how much you pay. And
it's beginning to get, those designations are about as confusing as trying to keep up with, well, let's see, the Gophers they're on Peacock tonight, they're on Big Ten Network tonight, they're on, I get it with that we want to have more choices and the kids love the streaming, but it is harder.
Oh, yeah.
When you don't, in the old days, you could sort of assume it's going to be one of two places. Now, a lot of these games will be one of like 7 places.
I know.
You actually have to look it up these days.
We should mention that the Minnesota Wild are on the Fan a little bit later tonight, and the Timberwolves are on the Timberwolves channel of your iHeartRadio app.
Okay.
To clear up the confusion, you could make both KFAN and the Timberwolves channel presets
on your
on the free,
iHeartRadio.
very easy to use iHeartRadio app, and then you don't have to search around.
That's perfect.
You just bang it like it's in your car.
Yeah, it's a wonderful.
It's a radio, so we got the presets there for you.
That's very, very good. Go for men's basketball Big Ten play tomorrow night
on the Fan, 6:00 against.
That's why
your
we're out at 6.
Yes.
Indiana's, I think, off to a good start. I don't think they
can shoot it, apparently, according to Nico.
Well, that's the big remark from our guy. Rick Bozich has been kind of down on the Indiana basketball program, and he's kind of sarcastically said, "It's amazing what you do when you get a couple people who can shoot."
Yeah,
and
one of them's the coach's kid too.
Is that right?
Tucker DeVries.
Well, it sounds very elementary, but there are coaches who forget. They get so intrigued with the athleticism of certain players.
Yep.
That they forget that it's the object of the game is to score.
Yep.
And if you can have some pure shooters, you might be able to accept some other warts in their game if they can add that. And that's been a problem for Indiana. You remind me, the Gophers, who, of course, they've got basically a brand new team under Nico, first-year coach here, and now we got more injury issues. Is that correct?
The point guard, Chauncey Willis Jr., who led the MAC in scoring a year ago, has a broken foot, and he's basically out the entire season.
Now, do we know how it or when it happened? Was there a play?
It happened in the first 3 minutes of their game against Stanford in Palm Springs.
Okay.
And that's not good. So they have about 7 healthy scholarship guys right now, and the first coach's radio show hasn't even aired on KFAN yet. We aired it on the Plus today, noon to 1. It'll be on the Fan tomorrow, noon to 1. And that was my, joke to him today. I said, my God, we haven't even gotten to the first radio show, and they've got multiple guys that haven't played at all.
Yeah.
Their best big man is also injured. He's got a knee thing that's going to be a while, and so welcome to the Big Ten.
Do we have anybody that we know we're getting next year already?
Yeah. They have some freshmen.
Got some people
including a local kid from Wayzata that's coming in. Man. But again, they're young, and they'll be big in the portal again next year. But
they'll have to be, probably.
Yeah, the season's not even really because now football's ending, right? College football's ending, the NFL's about done, and you're about to get into conference.
So there'll be much more focus on.
Yeah, right when you're about to really lock in on hoops, it's like we got 7 guys, and a couple of them probably aren't ready to play. And you lose an important piece. I really liked Willis, the guard that they got.
Yes.
He was a fun, kind of rugged, tough scoring guard, and now he'll be back. They think Nico said there'll be no problem getting him the medical red shirt. He's got a good case for that, but it's not going to help this year at the barn.
I really want college basketball to matter a little bit more in this town. I don't demand that it be as relevant as it once was under Clem, but I would just like to see it bounce up a little.
You're not alone.
It would just be nice as an option.
Yes.
Now, how is he holding up mentally early, the head coach?
Nico?
I mean, he's got to know, and they this wasn't going to be done in 15 minutes, whatever he thinks he can do.
Yeah.
But it's always easier to say that philosophically than enduring it once you get into the season, because it can be cruel if loss is topped upon another loss, stacked on another loss. You know what I'm saying?
He said today, he was funny. He said, I've been through this, Gopher fans. He said, I've been through year ones. He goes, I've been through all of this. At all my stops, it'll all be fine. Hang with us. You know, he's playing the good soldier and putting a good face on. But, yeah, year ones are tricky, and when you lose a lot of your guys, it could be bad. Like, it could be bad. But tomorrow night at 6,
so
the Hoosiers.
Who's the best team in the Big Ten?
Michigan State,
probably, yeah.
Yeah, they're
what are the Badgers like
right
this
now.
year?
They're going to be good.
They're going to be good?
Yeah, they're going to be good. They've got a lot of good players back.
Any of them from here?
Yeah, Nolan Winter.
Oh, that's right.
Trevor's kid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Have you ripped him for that yet? Or
Trevor? Absolutely. Including on the coach's show today, because Nico basically lived with Trevor in college. I'm like, some good that does.
That's a good point.
And his wife Heidi, and he named him. Trevor and Heidi were always over at our place. So some good that did us.
Wow.
But yeah, we don't talk to him now. Yeah.
Blackballed from the Gopher.
Trevor's probably listening now. He'll text one of us. He'll text me. He's a good guy. We're happy for Nolan.
All right. Well,
Wisconsin's good, to answer your question.
That's the
They're
answer.
going to be good.
So let's pause. Let's talk some puck. Little hockey conversation with Luigi. As I mentioned, hit my Twitter handle, Dan Barreiro, KFAN, if you have questions for Louie. We will talk about a team that seems to be headed in a much better direction. We had a hardcore Wild fan in front of us earlier, and he said they're ready to win the cup. And I said, well, I hope you're right. It'd be a hell of a story. We'd love to see it be seasonal boost from a programming standpoint, but I got to see it sustain itself a little longer, because we got to remember, as recently as a year ago, the first half of the season, we were playing as good as anybody in the league, right?
Yeah.
And so it's got to be sustained. And again, the position this team is in, as we'll talk about with Louie, is that they have to start doing something in the postseason other than losing the first round before anybody is really going to take them all that seriously around the league, no matter how well they play. But it's definitely trending in a much better direction than when it started, mainly because the goaltending and the defense have been so good. We'll get into all that with Luigi when we return here on The Fan.
Well, she sneaks around the world from India to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is Nanne? There's only South Korea, baby,
Wish he was with us at our Toys for Tots location here at Shields in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. But as it turns out, Louie is back, I believe, in Florida. You timed it nicely. Left this morning, is that correct?
That's right. I had to stay over. I stayed up in Minnesota a few days there. I had to get back home here.
Yes,
but
did.
I had some duties with the World Junior Hockey Tournament, and so I stayed till this morning. And by the way, before I forget, we've got to encourage the people to get tickets to watch the greatest show of hockey for kids between 17 and 20 that you're ever going to see. It's be a great Christmas gift. It's a great gift for the kids, for the grandkids, for the family, and the players you're going to see play are going to be in the NHL. They'll be the best players in the world in 4 or 5 years. So,
what are the dates, by the way, of the refresh my memory?
December 26th and goes till January 5th. You got the Canadian team in their divisions based at Mariucci 3M at Mariucci, and the U.S. team is based at Grand Casino, and the playoffs are all at Grand Casino.
Nice.
And they've got a really good deal on the Canadian tickets going right now, because there's been some problems with the Canadians coming down here. You know, they got a little bit of anger going, and they're not coming. Although I think more of them will come when they get close to it. They're so accustomed to seeing this tournament, and they know how great it is, and it doesn't matter what teams you see play. That's the best part about it. You could go see the Finns and Swedes play, and they got a rivalry probably bigger than the Canadians in the U.S. And when you look at the teams, like whether it's Switzerland, Germany, they all have talented hockey players, and to see these kids at 18, 19 years old that play so well it's just amazing, the kind of intensity and how smart they are, how hard they play, and how good they can play.
You know, I've always envisioned you as someone who would have been a great UN ambassador. So are you like trying to work your magic to smooth things over politically, to sort of, you know, to assuage the fears of the Canadians about making this trip, etc.?
Well, you know, I talked to Wendy Blackshawn. She heads up Minnesota Sports and Events. She's fantastic. What a job she does. And I said, you know what we really need to do? We need to get a hockey player from each of the teams across Canada, each of the NHL teams, and just get them to do a minute commercial about their experience in the World Juniors and say, we got to get down there and back Canada in the championships, because Canada is going to be very good. The U.S. beat them, and I love that. I was up in Ottawa last year, and the U.S. beat them in the overtime period. And as I said before, BM made a fantastic play to do it, and he made a great setup. And the year before, the U.S. won as well. So U.S. is going for their third gold in a row, and they've never done that before. So they've got that to shoot for. But the Canadians, they haven't won for a few years, so it'd be something for them to win. And they are the favorite team right now going in. So you would think that they would get the kind of support that they've had in the past.
One would only hope. Got a lot of good questions that come in via my my Twitter, my X account, since we're on location for the Toys for Tots event. I'll give you an example. Tyler writes, I got to know if Louis has any good Kenny Patera stories. No doubt they cross paths at some point. And you got any good
yeah,
Patera
we did
stories
cross paths, but no, I don't have any any about Kenny himself. But
we might have a couple.
I'm unfortunately I don't.
Yeah, we that's a callback to, was it during training?
Let's move on.
Training camp. Hulk Hogan passed away.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan passed away, and we had Kenny on.
Oh, that's one of Brett's worst days ever. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Brett. I forgot about that.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Well, Kenny, kind of forgot that we were on, like major market radio.
Or didn't care.
And then also, he did. It's the old Sid trick where I think you can relate to this. Occasionally, somebody, a major sports figure, would pass away. And Sid's column would end up being more of a tribute to Sid than to the person who passed away. And Kenny did some of that, too.
Some of it. Yeah.
You're right.
The same thing. So
Yep.
It was always fun. Those were always the best. It was absolutely the best.
We did find out, though, you can say the F word like 9 times apparently on the radio before we get in trouble.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
That was not. That was a little dangerous, yeah. Okay, so no good Kenny Patera stories, but maybe an answer to this question. Can you ask Louis how he would approach managing 2 really excellent goaltenders, is rotating every game, which is, I kind of think, the way the Wild are doing it right now, a sound solution, or do you stick with one guy for a while and see if he stays hot? What do you think?
No, I love what they're doing right now. When you got 2 goaltenders playing like that, you might as well keep them challenging each other, plus staying sharp game every second game. This way they both are getting and they're quicker. They've both been on top of their game, and you might as well keep doing it because you're giving each of them a little more rest than you normally would if you're just going with one for 2/3 of the time. So I think it's a good strategy, and thus far it's really played out. So it's something that the Wild got to be so happy about. Wallsted's been such a terrific find this year, so unexpected the way he's come in and not just played good goaltender, but get as many shutouts as he had and keep that goals against average down. It's been terrific for them.
It's been astonishing. And in fact, he's in, I think, in that tonight game that you can hear on the Fan a little bit later. Brett Blakemore, if you're paying attention, can you play the sound from Avalanche play-by-play guy who's been in a big Twitter war since he made these comments with our own Russo Radio? Do you have those, Blakemore? For
I
Louis?
got it.
Yeah, let's play this. So Louis, you may have heard this, but I want to play it for the listeners. And if you haven't, it'll be a good starting off point to get into a little bit of a conversation and reaction to it. Let's listen.
Here he comes. Cale Makar, right-handed shot, right side circle. Makar tried to go 5-hole, save made by Volstead, and he celebrates like he's won the Stanley Cup. He has not. It's a 3-2 shootout win for the Wild, and the Avalanche have their first loss of any kind in 10 games. They still get a point. They still lead the Central Division. They still lead the National Hockey League, and they still are the best team in the world.
Well, I can tell you, I hadn't heard that, but I will
missed
tell you
that
one
part.
thing.
Me too.
I wish I was the owner of the team. I'd have to pay him less. That guy loves his job so much. I think he might do it for nothing.
That's very possible. You're right. So the
God,
battle
he's a little bit
then.
of a homer. Yeah,
well,
which is fine.
Yeah, the battle was then he's saying, you're celebrating too hard. Russo basically said, relax, calm down, little enthusiasm. So what do you make of that whole deal?
I think he was bitter. There's no question in my mind. The guy was so upset. He wanted that streak to continue. He didn't want to see the Avalanche lose, and he's a little jealous that that Wallstead, if I was him, I would have celebrated the same way. You celebrate each win that you win like you're winning the Stanley Cup, because each game is so important to the team. And for a young guy like that, the announcer should realize this kid's in his first full year in the National Hockey League.
Yep.
He just stopped the best defenseman in the world. He wins a game against a team that's only won once in regulation thus far in the season. I think it's something to celebrate, and it sure warrants it. And for the guy to react like that, it just, to me, shows some bitterness. He doesn't want to lose the game, that announcer. He thinks that it's okay for somebody else to lose, but not the Avalanche.
Yeah, I think we put that under the classification of a little bit of youthful exuberance, which in victory I don't think should be, that big of a deal, should it?
Well, let's take a look at Green Bay. Every time they score a touchdown, somebody jumps in the end zone. I mean, that's a lot of exuberance.
Yeah.
This kid's not jumping out of the rink, and I think that if you look around the league, there's other nights, other games being played when you get to overtime and they come back and beat a top team, that you're going to see the goaltender celebrate the same way. This guy was just a little bit carried away.
Well, as long as he doesn't start calling himself 30, I think we'll be okay. I think there's limits. We've talked about it with J.J. McCarthy. It seemed like he wanted to build the myth about himself before he performed well. And obviously, Volstead hasn't led the Wild to the Cup yet, but he's off to an extremely good start in terms of performance, and that's the most important thing. We had a Wild fan here earlier who was very excited about the club. Basically said, you know what, I think this is a year where they can really make a run. And I said, I want to believe that. I would love to have hockey programming and series for us to discuss well into the month of May. It would be great for the bumper-to-bumper program for sure, if we want to think selfishly. But, I got to see it sustained a little bit. So I'll ask you the same question. I mean, at what point can this be trusted? The trending is very good and needed given the way the Wild started the season. No question about that. But when can we say, okay, yeah, there's really something going on here that might have legs?
Far too early. Far too early.
Yep.
And before I go into that, let me tell you one thing. We're in entertainment. The athletics, doesn't matter what sport you're talking about, it's all about entertainment. And Bill Goldsworthy, he wasn't a really big known quantity in the NHL when he started doing the Goldie Shuffle. And he started doing the Goldie Shuffle, and it became something, a signature thing that people around the league used to like to see him do it. And for Wallstead as a goaltender, this is the same thing. So we shouldn't get on the guy that much because he celebrates in a unique way, which is terrific. But the Wild, they've turned around a tough start with 3-6-3, and they were sinking fast. And the next thing you know, Wallstead actually got them started in the right direction, and now they're in a good position. You're almost a third way through the schedule, and if you project the team doing the same thing the rest of the way, that would give them about 103 points, and safely in a playoff position and in a good position to go from there. But you can't start talking about the Cup until you've won a round or two. You don't just leapfrog from a strong league play to the Stanley Cup, because we have to remember, for the most part, every President Cup winner that is the most points in the league of all the teams, very seldom wins the Cup.
Yep.
That's a heck of a jump. So we are way too early to start talking about that, but we're not too early to talk about the good hockey the Wild are playing, and if they can sustain that, how competitive they'll be throughout the rest of the league, and then have an opportunity to get their first, is it 10 years or something? It's a long time.
10 years.
They've won a playoff round.
That's correct, 10 years. Well, I think you've distilled it perfectly. I don't think there's anything ever wrong with enjoying each victory, especially the way they've been winning, enjoying this goaltending, because they're the games in front of you right now. So if you're invested in it, you're allowed to enjoy it, right, and to appreciate it and to say, hey, maybe something's happening here. But it's the long game, and it's frustrating because the playoffs seem like a long way from now, right? And they are, quite frankly. But that's just sort of the nature of it, because you've been around this long enough to know that in the end, it is about maybe not even winning cups necessarily, because that's a lot, but making runs, right? Being vital and being in the mix when you get to the postseason, and that's, you can't fast forward. You just have to play your way through that in the meantime and try to put yourself in the best position, as you said, but it ain't going to pay off until you pay it off, and that's going to be when we get to the spring.
You know, Dan, I got to tell you, and not for personal reason, but what you're seeing reminds me back when I was general manager. Andy McPhail was running the Twins, and we had gone through a great run. We had 7 years. We had 76 playoff games. And the next year, we missed the playoffs, and, of course, we took a lot of heat. And I'll never forget, McPhail coming to me, he says, for crying out loud, he says, I hope I get that coming forward, to have that kind of run for that kind of time, to be a factor for 7 years in a row like that. And that's what it's all about, what you just said, getting to be a factor in the playoffs.
Yes.
You don't know if you're ever going to win it, and I got to tell you, even if you get to the finals, it's awful hard to get to the finals again. But just having the opportunity to compete in the Stanley Cup Finals longer than the first round really fuels everything for the team. It gives you such a satisfaction to be able to have taken that run, and gives you an opportunity to imagine. And that's what you play the game for, to imagine. Like, when you're a kid, you imagine making the NHL. And you imagine winning the Stanley Cup. Well, when you're in the playoffs, you imagine winning the Cup. And very few people get there compared to how many play. But the good part about it is being able to imagine.
That's it. That's 100% true. Louis joining us from Florida. We are at Shields until 6:30 tonight. Toys for Tots, the big event. If you'd like to stop by and say hello, or more importantly, drop off a toy. The bin is getting nicely filled up again, and we appreciate all the support that we get every year on this station on our Toys for Tots Day. Now let's get to the most important question. Did you watch the Vikings' most recent debacle, and how did you process it?
Well, yeah, I watch every second of it, and you're on the sidelines, you're in your living room watching a game, and it's a game where you're hoping and you're wishful that something's going to be different, but you're also antagonizing yourself, and it's aggravating inside because you're torn. That you know it's not going to happen, but you want it to happen, and you suffer. I mean, when you watch a game that, I got to tell you, the defense was so good.
It was.
It wouldn't have taken much of an offense to win that game. One of the things that happened in games that nobody's really paid much attention to is Sam Darnold did not look like a $30 million quarterback.
He did not. You're right.
And had. And I'm sure Max would want that one play back again. Had he just taken the sack instead of throwing it away, even if they got 3 points, then they're just down 6, and they were really affecting the game. The defense was making a big difference in that game, and it's just the little things, the unusual things that happen in that game that really upsets you because they were so unusual. If you say, how often do you see that happen? That shouldn't happen. And if they didn't happen, the Vikes would have been right in it all the way to the end, and they really weren't getting much of an offense.
No.
I will say this. If I was a quarterback and I know nothing about football, but I know one thing. If I was Max, I would have thrown that ball to Jefferson every time, and I take a chance on it being intercepted.
Yeah.
Because it likely isn't going to be intercepted, because if Jefferson doesn't get it, he'll knock it down. You just, keep attempting if you're good enough to throw it over the guy and let Jefferson, here and there, he'd make a spectacular catch. But when you're dying, you got to go with the one that brung you.
Sure.
You got to.
Yep.
When you go to a dance, you dance with the one that brung you, and you got to go with Jefferson and just keep throwing him the ball, whether he catches it or not.
All right, so they're sitting now at 4-8, less than 1% chance they make the playoffs at this point. So, is it you might as well put JJ back in there, McCarthy, and just play through everything, even if he's dreadful again. You got to keep at this point throwing him out there the rest of the regular season. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be dreadful. I have to tell you, there's whether they'll admit it or not, there's a lot of pressure on McCarthy right now.
Yes,
because they aren't going to make the playoffs. It's just not. You're not going to have 3 teams that are good teams above you all fail, and you have to remember that they play each other, so that there's going to be wins by all 3 of them along the way that are going to pull away from you. But I think that when you look at JJ, a lot of it sometimes early on becomes from the exuberance of wanting to do a lot and trying to do. You try and do things, and before you know it, you're trying to do too much. And I think right now he's going to come in. I really think that the Vikings are going to win a couple of games along the way here that's going to surprise people, and JJ's going to have a couple of good games.
Well, oddly enough, I think, to your point, I think he may have a better chance to play looser now because there's less to lose. I mean, and I felt before the season began, Louis, the unfairness to McCarthy is that when you come to a team or start for a team that's coming off a 14-3 season, you're going to be graded on a tougher curve, whether it's fair or not. If you're a team that's rebuilding and everybody's acknowledging we were terrible last year and we're just putting this new QB out there and we're going to see what he has, that's a very different deal than when you join a team that's coming off the kind of regular season they had last year, where no matter what people said about being patient, it was going to be harder to be patient, right? Because expectations on the basis of that record and the fact that they spent more money than any other team in the league in terms of free agency, that was going to add to the pressure that the kid almost from the beginning was going to have to, was expected to play well, even if it was unfair to him.
There's no doubt that he was under tremendous pressure. As you said, you're coming off a team, what were they, 14-3?
Yeah.
And how do you replicate that? That's tough enough to replicate if you were the best quarterback that's ever played. 14-3 is a hell of a season. You don't just have 2 in a row like that. And I think that no matter what happened, he was going to have some tough times along the way because he is a rookie. We have to remember he's essentially a guy that hasn't got a lot of experience behind him, not even in college.
Right.
So to expect that much out of him right away is definitely going to put more pressure on him, and he's going to be graded tougher, like you said. And there's going to be times when things are really bad, and I think he's strong-willed enough to get through that. I don't question his mind ability to handle things, but physically, whether his mind's handling it or not, you still mentally try and do sometimes more than you should be doing. You play the game a different way than you normally would if there's no pressure and no higher expectation.
I'm going to finish with a Toys for Tots question for you. when little Luigi Nanne was growing up in the Sioux, give me a toy that you got, a Christmas gift that you got that changed everything for little Luigi. I mean, was it something? Was it a hockey stick? Was it something? Something that
hockey gloves. It was
hockey gloves.
Yeah, I remember getting my first pair of hockey gloves, and I can't even remember. I might have been 6 or 7 years old to have a pair of hockey gloves was really something, and I still remember. That's why I knew exactly what I wanted to say, because to have them all wrapped up like that under the tree, and you open it up and they smelled good. I can still smell the way the smell of those gloves. I still feel the way they felt. I just it was a gift that I just treasured the rest of my life.
I love it, and that's something. It's amazing what stays with you, right?
Yeah.
Good example.
Yeah,
of that.
I mean, I used to love to get hockey stuff. I just used to love to get hockey stuff and new stuff, because even though it was a long time ago, it was expensive to get hockey equipment at all times, in a comparative situation that you're in, and to get that and to have new stuff to go out the next day and play hockey with new equipment was really something I loved every year.
Excellent work as always, my friend. We appreciate your fine sponsor, Kemp's, as well. We always appreciate their support, and we will chat with you next week.
Well, I love talking to you from Shields. I enjoyed my time when I came there.
Yes.
Last time I was able to. You guys do a great job, and for Toys for Tot, that's wonderful. You're able to do it. And sorry I'm missing it, but
well, you've done
I'm
it.
happy to hear you're having a good time, man.
We were, Guards and I were talking about this. You've been very loyal when you've been in town, going all the way back. We used to be at the Mall of America doing this event. You showed up there several times.
I remember one time I got there, I didn't know if I'd be able to make it, the snowstorm.
Yes, that's right.
I don't want to be in one of those again.
No, you wouldn't even know what to do with a snowstorm now, would you?
I'd rather drive in the cold weather. At least I can put sweaters on. I got some nice sweaters I like to wear.
They have new hockey gloves at Shields, Louis, if you want to wake up the echoes of the 6-year-old Nana.
There you go.
They've got a lot of new hockey gloves right up on the second floor.
Send them down here to Florida. I'll take it up with my grandchildren that are playing down here.
Grow the game. Keep growing the game down there with those new hockey gloves.
You and Jacques Lemaire and a few others. Phil Esposito.
Right.
Thanks, man. Be good,
Take
Louis.
care. See you guys.
Lou Nanne via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline. We'll pause for the top of the hour break. We'll get to a couple of Vikings items, maybe a couple of other things in our final 30 minutes or so. Don't go away.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun. Well, now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher. It's powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. I would say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher, iHeartRadio.com/teachers, iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Interesting quotes out of nowhere. You remember a pitcher named Sonny Gray?
I do. Fondly.
We had for a minute.
I love Sonny Gray.
And then we did.
Yeah. He's with the Cardinals still, right?
No, not anymore. He is now, I believe, with the... Isn't it the Red Sox? I think he just got traded to the Red Sox. Sonny, didn't we talk about that? As the Red Sox.
I was probably off.
Blakemore, I should say.
I was probably off.
So, New York Post sports department seems to have boxed up Sonny Gray.
No.
Here's what they have. Sonny Gray, on his time with the Yankees, after being traded to the Red Sox most recently. I never wanted to go there in the first place. They found a quote from Sonny Gray after he indeed was traded to the Yankees in 2017. I couldn't be happier to be here today, to which the Post sports department snark says, which one is it, Sonny? This is pretty good. It's outstanding. So who knows what the truth is, but the moral of the story is he's not here. He's still not here.
No,
Sonny Gray's still not here.
Which I think we can confirm he's happy about.
Well, yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
That's like somebody just boxed up Lane Kiffin in the same way, and said because when he got the USC job, he called it the greatest job in the country.
Oh, yeah.
And then
yeah.
2 days ago, he said LSU is the greatest job in the country. That's the tricky part about the digital age of which we live.
Yeah, there was a time where you might be able to get away with it because we didn't have the internet.
Well, who's your guy? Colangelo, right?
Yeah.
Said the thing that haunted you, that where you went down to the library because you knew that he said something.
He ripped Scott May, a former Indiana player who fared poorly as a pro. He was drafted by the Chicago Bulls.
And in 2025, you would have confirmed that in 4 seconds.
That's a great point.
You would have found it, right?
Yeah,
Back then, you had to spend your...
And he might not have been as cavalier about it because he'd known chances are he's going to get boxed up. Where he's saying, well, I don't know, this idiot's going to actually spend 3 hours in the catacombs at the IU library looking through newspapers.
I love that
hard
story.
Copy newspapers of the Chicago Tribune.
And you found it.
And I found it. It made my night.
Yeah.
And then, but what didn't make my next day was when I presented it with him, because I stole the paper from the library. I said, I got to have this. And showed it to him. He just kind of he just walked away.
Yeah.
Wouldn't acknowledge it. He's like, I don't know what you're talking. I still don't know what you're talking
That's
about.
probably what Sonny is doing today.
That's very true.
Very similar.
Speaking of snark, earlier we had Kevin Seifert on location here, and we were talking about his view on the Adam Thielen saga, the way it played out. And part of the stories we talked about yesterday was it was Adam Thielen's bad luck that wide receiver was the one position once the season began in which nobody got hurt or nobody has been hurt since the suspension to Jordan Addison. And if that position had been the same as several others, he probably would have had more of an opportunity because one of the other receivers might have been out for at least a game or two, to which tweeter guy Christopher wrote, it's hard for the Vikings wide receivers to get injured when they don't get to touch the ball. Hard to argue.
Man.
Hard to argue.
How fast does it turn?
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about the Ken Patera interview. That was at training camp.
Yes.
How different is the feeling?
Oh, my God.
From how we felt that day or any day at training camp to now.
Let's be clear, though. If we go back to our first day at training camp, it may or may not have been a bit by PA.
That's
but if you recall, basically all PA did while we were on the air was, oh, my God, every pass McCarthy throws is either 20 yards past the receiver, way up in the air, or at his feet.
And then
we thought it was a bit.
Well, the best part about that was when he did have the completion, I said, that was a nice strike, JJ to whoever, and PA goes, would have been sacked.
Yeah, that's right, he did.
Would have been sacked.
That's what he said. So at the time, I thought he was just playing to our show, the snark of our show, but it may have been he was ahead of the curve, as it turns out.
Seifert was right, though. It was an up and down training camp, so much so. Remember when Kevin O'Connell did the sky is not falling? We looked out at, I don't remember if that was a joint or a preseason game or whatever, but he was already trying to kind of quiet everybody down.
Yeah.
But it is crazy that you think about the training camp the year before. JJ was great.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody figured we were all doing, when's he going to start? And then a lot of people thought it might be the first game.
That's true.
Until he got hurt. It's crazy. Life comes at you fast.
It definitely does. All right, we got one more break to get in. A shorty will remind you what we have, what you've missed earlier today, and what we have coming up back at headquarters on tomorrow's program. What we have coming up tonight on the Fan as well. Our final segment from today's Toys for Tots event, and there's still time for you to get here, drop off a toy. Help out however you can via a toy or a check or cash or whatever the case may be. Easy to find on the first floor of the Shields in the massive Shields in Eden Prairie. Back for our final segment for today in a minute.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Well, I think all things being equal, it worked out pretty well today in our Toys for Tots appearance, the Bumper to Bumper program at Shields in Eden Prairie. We had a nice conversation with up-and-coming Vikings defensive lineman Levi Drake Rodriguez. Found out that he is, at least this first time I knew, he actually was an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And then ended up being moved to defense. He joined us probably, about
3:20.
3:20 or so?
Yeah.
Seifert for a good solid hour. Followed him. Louis by telephone. We just wrapped up. And I assume you could bring a toy in the next hour still? Or how long do we extend this Toys for Tots deal? Do we
Probably
know?
until they're torn down. I don't know exactly.
So at least for a while, if
Give
you
it a
have to
shot.
be close to Eden Prairie Mall or you're somewhere in the mall, because I know a lot of people have their earbuds in and they listen to us as they walk all the way around
Of course,
the mall.
yeah.
So it's still an opportunity to help out a very, very good cause, as I know many of you already have. Today we've met a number of folks, fine folks today as well. We appreciate those who stopped by to say hello to us. So tonight, what do we have the rest of the evening?
We've got Vikings Country coming up next, then Wild Weekly, then Wild Edmonton. And the Timberwolves game at 7 o'clock is on the Timberwolves channel of your iHeartRadio app.
And you will not see Zion. Well, you'll see Zion Williamson in street clothes. Actually, he probably won't even be in street.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't know.
Probably won't even be there. I'm guessing, realistically.
You know the one follow-up I wish you would have asked today?
What's that?
Did you hear Levi talk about his, I guess, the Bible college or the religious school that he went to? And he said we could have visitors from the opposite gender one day a month.
Well, it's a very religious school.
Look, I had so many questions.
Yeah.
Like, was it the same day? Did you stagger the day? Because, I mean, my mind exploded. I'm like, that had to be kind of problematic.
But yeah.
Was it like Animal House that day?
Is it less problematic if you decide to go to that? I mean, don't you kind of have to know?
Yeah.
You go to that school that the rules might be a little bit different there.
I guess.
Even in
Texas or wherever he was.
But you
just cracked me up that he brought that up because
very true.
You could have visitors from the opposite gender one day a month.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A very, very unusual approach, but I'm guessing it a lot of because he basically talked about how big with that was for his faith.
Yes.
That it's that kind of place where that's sort
His
of what
sister
you're
went
dealing
there
with.
too, I think.
You kind of get what you know what you're in for. You know, I'm not going to rip you. I'm not going to feel sorry for you if you
That's
go
true.
to that place. It's like you're not going to, you ain't going to Madison. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
University of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Where all bets are off from the moment you get there.
Exactly. UNLV.
Yeah. Well,
it just cracked me up. Like, does everybody wake up at 4 a.m. that day, just excited they get to see somebody from the opposite gender? I don't know. It cracked me up.
In any case,
that was also at all of my colleges. People from the opposite gender came over on average once every 6 months. So
it wasn't that.
Yeah,
different.
once a month. Wow.
Right.
Okay, that'd be great.
It actually feels pretty crazy.
Work out for me.
Almost Animal House-ish like, eh?
Yeah.
All right. So tomorrow we're back at headquarters, and Mason, your face, is he back?
He will be back 4 to 5 tomorrow.
And then Kessler is up in the air. There may be some things that will make it harder for him to be with us, but we'll keep you posted on that tomorrow.
We think we'll have Mike Conley tomorrow, too. That'll be confirmed a little bit later tonight.
Andy Luger is going to be in studio Thursday. There's a lot to get caught up on with him, and it was going to be a tough day to get into this today. New York Times had an interesting piece that's getting a lot of attention regarding Minnesota, land of 10,000 fraud cases, that it really wasn't new, but maybe new to the national audience. It's a lot of stuff that we have tended to cover. I wanted to get Luger's reaction, though there were a few comments in that story that I did think advanced the story a little bit. And I also thought that the governor Sunday, I think it was on Meet the Press, I don't think he could have done a worse job at defending his administration regarding some of these stories. And he has not done a particularly effective job from the beginning, especially when he tried to actually take credit for, the bad guys are going to jail, as if he had something to do with that, which you can't quite make up. So we might get into some of that tomorrow, with or without Mr. Kessler. That's indeed the plan. And you mentioned Conley, possibly.
Yeah, I would anticipate we have
tomorrow as well.
They are in New Orleans for the next 3 days. Game tonight, game Thursday.
Is that dangerous? I mean, is New Orleans still considered, like, for visiting teams, a dangerous place to hang out in? I don't know how.
There's still Bourbon Street, right?
Bourbon Street still exists as far as we know, right?
It's still there. I was there about a year ago at this time.
Could be a little bit on the dangerous side, I would think.
It could be.
Are we favored, by the way, the Vikings to beat Washington?
I haven't looked.
Blakemore, do you have time to look to see if we are...
Stand by.
I can pull it up, too.
I'm guessing...
It's a race.
I'm guessing...
I've got it.
We are favored by 1.5.
You nailed it. Vikings
Seriously?
favored 1.5.
1.5, yeah. That's what an insult, by the way, that is.
I know.
It's their right now, I think it's their backup quarterback.
Marcus Mariota.
Who's not terrible, but still is a backup.
He's functional.
their record's worse than ours, isn't it?
I think so.
We're 4-8, aren't they? 3-9.
Probably.
Man, so it hasn't gone well for them either.
NFC title game a year ago for them, if you recall.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't think their quarterback's long for this world either, because I don't think he's going to stay healthy.
He's very slight, right? He's very slight.
That's what I'm worried about. JJ. He's kind of slight too.
I know.
Well, long way from here to there, but you're going to see him the rest of the year. I don't think you're going to see a Brosmer other than an injury.
Which is still a possibility. And it's not a cheap shot like the guy thought yesterday. I'm just saying,
you're just trying to rip.
Stay ready, Max. Stay ready.
You're assuming he's the backup. Even Seifert said he didn't know it.
I know. That's what's too
I would be surprised if he wasn't, but at this point, pretty much all bets are off, I would say. The other thing I want to get into tomorrow is exactly the way I think the Vikings should play at the next 2 or 3 games. I think they should do it the way Seattle did this last game. All we're interested in doing is crossing the 50 and getting to like the other team's 40, and then we'll kick the field goal.
Bang the field goal.
And if you make 7 field goals, you got 21 points.
That's true.
Because our kicker can kick from anywhere.
And our defense is hanging in.
Yes,
they're playing okay
last week.
Yeah.
Very, very true. And then at some point, maybe we'll get a report on your kind of a travelogue report on your Bahamas trip.
It was a heck of a 2 weeks.
In which you lost. You gained going there 80 degrees, and then you lost 82 degrees coming back. Right?
Yeah. We had Eugene, Lawrence, Wrigley, and the Bahamas in 2 weeks.
Think about that.
That was one for the ages.
Yeah, that's quite a mixture.
2 week stretch
of weather. I guess you could say extreme.
Well, just
correct?
everything, like aesthetics, history, the whole thing.
I think it's too humid for me down there.
It is.
Yeah.
I told you that yesterday. It is. Yeah, it's really nice though.
It's easier to get there.
It's very easy to
Maui,
get there.
That's for sure. Not as long.
No real jet lag.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for all the folks who stopped by to see us, and thank you more importantly, whether you did or not, for your contributions.
Thanks to Shields
annual
again.
Toys for Tots
and Hy-Vee
Shields
for helping us out.
Yeah, they've
Awesome.
always done. They've been great partners on this year after year. It just keeps getting better and better with each passing year. Thanks for watching. Thank you indeed for listening, and we will talk to you back from headquarters tomorrow, beginning at 3 o'clock right here on the Fan.